You may have this deficiency because 2/3 at least of the population does, and that is magnesium. And when you are deficient in magnesium, it's used for so many chemical reactions in your body. It's going to really make life challenging. And I have a guest today that knows all about this because she suffered from magnesium deficiency. And we're going to learn more about it. I want to say big welcome to Tiffany Terczak. Welcome, Tiffany.
Thanks for having me, Jane.
I'm really happy to have you here. I met your husband when I was at a conference earlier this year, and we were talking about magnesium and told me about your story and your together story. So let's kind of dive in a little bit to that story. So I'll just tell people a little bit about you first, that aside from talking about magnesium today, you also have your own business, and you're very big on Instagram about saving money and eating healthy. I can't believe this, but you paid off $100,000 in debt by saving on your grocery bill. Okay, people, so you're going to learn. Okay, so welcome, Tiffany, and let's hear a little bit about what led you down this road. How did you get to this, and how did you know you had a magnesium deficiency?
Yeah. So the short version is my husband and I got married, as you mentioned, tons of debt. We set a grocery budget to save some money. Babies were coming. How are we going to make this work? Babies are expensive, type of thing. In the midst of that, my husband says, hey, we should start eating real food. I grew up eating boxed food, canned tomato soup. That was my jam. I think I survived a whole summer on goldfish. But but I'm like, hey, we are eating food because that's all I knew. And he's like, no, like food that grows from the ground, carrots, actual potatoes. And so trying to make that work within a budget took some time, took some adjusting, but we did. So we switched from the standard American diet to real food, to a clean eating diet. And as I mentioned, babies were coming. So baby number 1 didn't have any issues. Baby number 2 had all the issues. And at the time, I thought she was simply sitting on my sciatic nerve. I thought that was why limbs, I was like literally my right side of my body would fall asleep, both my arm and my leg. And, the first time or so, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it's the joy of pregnancy, right? And then it kept happening to both sides, no matter how I laid. And I was like, am I going to wake up one day and like not have arms and legs because they have no circulation? I don't even know if that's true, but that's what the thoughts that I'm going through my head. And so remember, we've switched to clean eating. So I'm eating good, wholesome stuff with the occasional scoop of ice cream because you're pregnant. And fast forward, get through delivery fine, and we're nursing. And I started having these terrible leg cramps. And when I say terrible, I mean like terrible. I would lay in bed. There's a condition called Restless leg syndrome. Wasn't officially diagnosed, but Dr. Google myself, and that's pretty much all my symptoms lined up with that. I'm laying there, they're twitchy, they're painful, and I tried all kinds of things. I tried topical sprays, I tried like oral supplements, and when you start going down this road of trial and error, we eventually landed on magnesium, trying these different versions of it. And none of them were really pleasant. The topical spray stung. And so like, it was this, do I have to really go through pain in order to feel better? And then I did, because I want to be able to sleep at night because my husband's sleeping on the sofa. I'm not sleeping because I'm so wiggly. And then the oral supplements were wreaking havoc on my digestive system. So it's, again, do I have to feel bad in order to feel better? Did some more research and found a recipe where you make your own magnesium lotion. And I was like, okay, well, I'm in this real food realm. I'm making all my other stuff anyway. We'll give it a shot. So I did. And it was okay. It worked a whole lot better than the sprays. It didn't sting. I'm not a professional lotion maker, so there was a little left to be desired, but we started talking with my audience, and I was like, hey guys, this is really helping me I think it might help you too. Here's the recipe. And people turned around and said, can you just make it for me? And I looked at my husband and I was like, you want to give it a go? And so we made 50 and put it up on Facebook, and we sold out in less than an hour. And I said, okay, I think people need this. So we worked with a lab and created a formula that is a million times better than my DIY version. And we literally bought every magnesium lotion there is on the market to make sure that ours was the best, especially in terms of texture and not efficacy, to make sure it actually worked.
Right.
We really wanted to be potent. Sorry, a little head cold's messing with me. And so that's the lotion that we have today. It's amazing. It's 250 milligrams per teaspoon. We have original, we have sleep. We absolutely love it. And it just kind of like it grew organically out of people needing magnesium for their bodies.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is, I know my husband had restless leg syndrome for a little while too. And it's really difficult. You cannot sleep in the bed with someone that has restless leg syndrome because they're tossing and turning all the time. Every time you just fall asleep, their legs are moving. And then, so it's really tough, right?
Oh, it's terrible.
Totally understand. Now, that is one of the symptoms of magnesium deficiency. Well, let's just talk about why there's a magnesium deficiency first, and then we'll talk about more of the symptoms.
Yeah. So about 2/3 of the population is deficient in magnesium. It is the second most needed mineral in your body. Your body uses it. It's like, I think the statistic is over 300 processes, but basically your body uses it for everything. If your body does something, and there's things that your body does that you don't recognize that it does, like you don't think about cell rejuvenation, that cells are dying constantly and they're replenishing themselves. You don't think about how you consume some protein, but then your body has to take that protein and turn it into something. And your body consumes carbohydrates and it turns it into actual energy that you can use. Then magnesium plays a role in all of that. And so with 2/3 of the population being deficient, either because of their diets, standard American diet is really great with Pop-Tarts and Oreos and cereal, not so much with foods that are high in magnesium, but also some of the commercial growing practices. You know, if you have a small garden, this isn't necessarily going to apply to you. You're going to have some great nutrients in your soil, but most people don't grow all of their food. It's coming in from somewhere. And at that scale, we're just missing a lot of these micronutrients in our food because it's not there in the soil. And I was talking with my husband and we were looking at some of the foods that are really rich in magnesium, like bananas are really rich, avocados, almonds, and black beans. But I was telling him, I was like, did you know you have to eat like 3 cans of black beans every day? I was like, you'd have to eat like 8 bananas. It was this astronomical number of these foods. And like, even if you somehow were able to eat enough of all of the right foods, one, your diet is going to be really boring. Like, I don't think you're going to enjoy that very much. But also, our bodies are created differently. If you are pregnant or nursing or postpartum, like you are going to have a greater need for magnesium because, hello, you are creating and growing a human. So like it's, again, the word astronomical, the amount of magnesium you need. If you are not well, if you're suffering from some long-term diseases, your body is trying to heal itself. You need magnesium. So, and then we're also just created unique in the first place. We all our bodies do things differently, just how some people are tall, some people are short, some people need more magnesium, some people need less.
So we need magnesium for, like as you said, over 300 like chemical processes in our body. And we're short in it because the soils have been depleted. So even the foods that are supposed to be high in it, even if you could eat enough of them, don't necessarily have the magnesium in there.
Yeah.
And I always sort of come back to like paleo. Like back in the paleo days, were they getting enough magnesium back then? Like how was it different for them?
Well, one, they don't have as many environmental stressors and environmental toxins that we're doing nowadays. Like we don't, when we talk about the body needing magnesium to regenerate cells and just, function day to day, our bodies work extra hard to overcome the daily stressors that we put on ourselves. And it's not just the stressor of, like I have a job interview or finances are tight. Like, yes, that's obviously a stressor, but your day-to-day activities, I've got to get up. I got to get the kids ready for school. Got to make them breakfast. Questions. What are we going to have for dinner? Just our day-to-day lives are completely different than they were way back when. And it kind of is all intertwined. So I don't know if in the paleo days they suffered from magnesium deficiency, but I almost kind of think we're talking like apples to oranges just because life is so different.
Yeah. And we've got all these environmental toxins to deal with as well. And then there's the stuff that we can't see, like EMF and stuff like that. So, and our phones are going all the time. And news is blaring at us all the time. So there's a lot of stressors. So, which can also add to poor sleep, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about, we mentioned, we have mentioned the restless leg syndrome that you experienced, which is interfering with your sleep and your relationship really, right? Because,
he was on the sofa. It was like, love you, good night. And then one went to the sofa and I went to the bedroom. And it was like that for a very short long time.
Yeah, it's tough. So what are some of the other signs of magnesium deficiency? Like how would someone know that they're in that 2/3 or so, or maybe more, that has a magnesium deficiency?
Yeah. So muscle cramps in general, and it's not just a one-off. Because everyone can get a one-off muscle cramp, but it's going to be, you're looking for the consistent, long-term, repeated symptoms. So muscle cramps, tingling of your limbs, that can happen too, numbness or even muscle spasms, a general feeling of being weak. And I'm getting older. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So, if you're suddenly feeling like a normal task is harder than it used to be, picking up the cast iron skillet, if that's harder than it used to be, that could be, muscle weakness. Fatigue plays a huge role because your body uses magnesium to sleep. So if you're not sleeping well, you're going to be fatigued. And, I want to delineate here that fatigue is different than being tired. You can wake up from one night of poor sleep and just be tired. Fatigue is this overwhelming feeling of like the lack of energy, lack of motivation, and it's day after day after day. And in kids, what's funny is the magnesium deficiency in kids can appear on the other end of the spectrum. So ADHD, hyperactivity, it's really weird. So and so the more we dug into some of these symptoms, like even your eyes, if your eyes are twitching often, which when I was researching this after the fact, my eyes were twitching all the time when I was pregnant. And it's just, the more we learn, the more we realize that a lot of the day-to-day things that we would think are just part of aging, are just part of our life. It's not normal. It's likely caused by something. And there's a really good chance it could be a magnesium deficiency, 67% of the population. I mean, it's like it's most people in the room.
Yeah. And it's such a simple fix, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people can supplement like through oral supplements with magnesium. And then, but the best way or the quickest way, from what I understand, is to absorb through the skin, like either with a cream, like you're talking about, or even like Epsom salts, that kind of thing. But how is it different absorbing magnesium through the skin as opposed to taking an oral supplement?
So when you take an oral supplement or anything that goes into your mouth, so it goes down to your belly, and it goes through the whole digestive system, stomach, small intestines, large intestines, bowel system, kidney, all the things, right? And along the way, it's going to get broken down. But if your body doesn't process it well, then you're going to experience some very unpleasant side effects: diarrhea, bloating, upset stomach, things that you do not want to share with people around you. When you put it on your skin, you completely bypass the whole digestive system, but you still get the effects into your bloodstream, which is, a total different topic. But when you are trying to live a healthier life, it does matter what you put on your skin, because your skin is actually your largest organ and it absorbs what you put on your skin. So by putting the magnesium lotion on your skin, you get all the amazing benefits, and it works a little quicker, about 15 minutes or so, without any of the side effects. I don't think we've had a single customer say, your lotion gave me this terrible side effect, because it's just not there.
Right.
You eliminate it.
Yeah. So diarrhea is pretty common with supplements, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
You're not going to get that with putting that on your skin.
No.
The other thing about taking supplements in general that I always like to remind people is, just because you've got a supplement that's got, that amount of that mineral or vitamin or whatever you're looking at, just because you put it in your mouth doesn't mean it gets absorbed into your system, right? Like if your digestive system is off, you're just not absorbing well. If you've got a leaky gut, or if you've got, the villi are all shrunk down, then you're not going to absorb. So then you're not getting it. So it's different. When you're putting it on your skin, you know that you're going to get it.
Yeah. And I just want to add to the leaky gut. We just realized a few months ago, Mike, my husband, has leaky gut. He's currently on the GAPS diet. He took a prescription for something shortly before we realized that he had some serious gut issues and had a severe, almost, I would say, allergic reaction to it. And it took us a couple of visits to the doctor to realize that his body does, currently, because we're working on it, was incapable of breaking it down. So you can take all the supplements you want, but if you're not healthy on the inside, and you can appear healthy on the outside, my husband's incredibly fit, handsomest man on the planet, but his gut was just not whole. And so if you're taking the supplements and you think I'm getting all the good stuff, not necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, it's so true that, people say you are what you eat. It's really, you are what you absorb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So magnesium comes in different forms, right? Like it's, I didn't know this before. You just think, magnesium, the mineral, it's one type, but it comes in different forms. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'm not super familiar with all the forms, because I think there's 7 or 9 of them, but there's magnesium glycinate, there's magnesium citrate. That's going to be most commonly found in, there's a supplement called Natural Calm, which you can take before bed. So that's the one that will cause you to use the restroom. Yeah. So bear that in mind. We use magnesium chloride. That's, again, no side effects. And then there's a different magnesium, I forget the official name, but Epsom salt, also a different one. Lots of different options. And it kind of just depends. I think all of them are good towards the spectrum of magnesium as a whole. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. But I will say that if you are deficient in magnesium and you're trying one and it's not working, try another. Please don't keep taking more Natural Calm, thinking that you just need more. There's just a good chance that you need a different type in order to find relief. And we have found that magnesium chloride in our lotion is really the one that is helping people the most.
Oh, so did you try out different kinds and then settle on magnesium chloride?
We did try a few different kinds, back in the trial and error days. We tried the citrate, we tried the glycinate, and it's slept a few nights since then. So we tried some of the other ones, but we kept coming back to the chloride. And that was the one that actually helped my legs not do the twitchy thing, actually helped me sleep at night, stay asleep at night. And so we just stuck with that ever since.
So how long ago? Well, you mentioned your kids are teenagers now, so it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a decade or so.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so I've got some of the lotion right here.
Yeah.
And I'm a lotion snob. I always love lotions. I remember back when I had my Barbies, I would have them in the little swimming pool and they get out and I put lotion on. I mean, I was just always. So I was really impressed with this lotion and how just putting some on my hand there now. Like with how nice and creamy it is. Like it's got a really nice consistency to put on. So
Yeah.
love my arms right now. I'm going to sleep well tonight.
That was one of our goals when we were developing it. It's
Yeah.
when we tried a bunch of different lotions, we felt like some of them were greasy. Some of them had a residue. Some of them you would put on and then 15 minutes later, you're like, can I wash my hands now? Like it just was, ugh, I can't even put that into words. And so it was really important to us that it was creamy. It was not greasy. You put it on and it absorbed quickly, but also didn't leave you feeling like you couldn't then go cook dinner or go hug someone. We didn't want you to put on lotion and then feel like you had to go wash your hands, that you were dirty or tainted or something. We wanted it to be like a pleasant experience, both when you put it on your hands or you put it on your legs, especially if you're struggling with a muscle cramp, you want to apply it where the muscle cramp is. But we wanted people to enjoy the lotion. That was really important to us.
Yeah. And it is. It is really nice. Like that's absorbed there now. I just put it on and I don't feel like I need to wash my hands or anything. So let's just, you mentioned that for the restless legs, that you wanted to put it where you were having the issue. So that's key, is it?
Generally speaking, yes. If you are having muscle cramps, you would want to apply it to those muscles that are cramping. If you struggle with falling asleep or another symptom of deficiency is a higher level of anxiety because you're not managing your stress very well, that also depletes your magnesium. So if you find yourself going into a stressful meeting, perhaps, or it's just a stressful time of year, or you just for some reason can't come down off of something, you can put it anywhere. You can put it on your arms, you can put it on your legs. For little ones, you can put it on the bottom of their feet, give them a little back massage. We just say avoid sensitive skin areas. I joke with my husband, I'm like, if it doesn't see sun, right? Like if it's usually covered by a bathing suit, then don't put it there.
Yeah. And you probably want to keep it away from your eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
So the contact I mean, you could probably, it's all natural, right? So you could probably eat it if you wanted to, not that you're going to, but
yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
But I remember my sister used to say this, that never put anything on your skin that you wouldn't put in your mouth. But so it's not that we would eat it, but it's all natural. And so it's not going to harm us. It's safe on our skin.
Yeah, it's non-toxic. There's no parabens. There's no synthetic chemicals at all. None of the junk. And that was really important to us too.
Yeah. Parabens are so nasty and disruptors. And
oh yeah.
So, okay, that's really great, Tiffany. Thank you. So have we covered all of the signs of magnesium deficiency?
Well, no, I got my cheat sheet here. Let me see. I just want to so we talked about weaknesses. So there's some other things too. Constipation can be one. Headaches can be one. Nausea. There are some other ones that are kind of bigger. I would say like heart palpitations can be associated with that. Things that we would normally think, oh, something's really wrong. So maybe you want to go see a doctor. But so I don't want to write off some of those symptoms because I don't want anybody to say, oh, nothing's wrong with me. I just need magnesium. Like if you think something's wrong with you, please go see your practitioner. But like we keep saying, with over 300 things in your body that you need magnesium for, there's 10,000 different ways that can manifest as a deficiency. So going back to your day-to-day, if you just don't feel energized, if you're feeling lethargic, if you're feeling anxious all the time, like you cannot get your stress level down, if you're just feeling achy and crampy, if you're not recovering from your workouts well, that's another sign. Like there's just a really good chance you're deficient in magnesium. And my husband and I are always about the holistic route whenever we can go. If we can do it ourselves, supplement on our own, then so be it. There's obviously a place for prescriptions, but we like to go natural route whenever possible. So if you can just generally feel better and manage your day-to-day with lotion, Like, why not?
Yeah. It's one of the, like, I don't get into telling people, what supplements to take and all that kind of thing very often, but we do know magnesium deficiency is so widespread and it can cause all these these problems that can really impact your life. And it's such a simple fix. So, yeah, I really appreciate that, Tiffany. Okay, we got a little bit of time. I'd like to hear a little bit about the Don't Waste the Crumbs. That's another completely different thing. But I'd like to hear a little bit about that.
Sure. Don't Waste the Crumbs is it's my food blog. I essentially teach people how to eat healthy food on a budget. That stems from us switching from the standard American diet to eating real food. And then, my husband can't, we just eat carrots statement. And, and us learning how to do that. At the time we were living in California, very expensive. And I remember looking online thinking, where can I get help? Like, where does this exist? And people at the time were talking about food budgets. Granted, this is like, pre-inflation. So they're talking about food budgets that were more than my mortgage 10 years ago. And I was like, that is not going to work. Like, I can't make a decision between, feeding my family or paying rent. Excuse me. So we started this food blog and it just kind of spiraled from there. People were looking for affordable recipes that were easy and family friendly. People were looking for meal plans. They were looking for grocery shopping tricks and strategies. And so I share all of that as well as very simple DIY tutorials like how you can make your own magnesium lotion. Although I'm telling you, that's not the best version. How to, just small things like that. And I have a course that we launched several years ago. And collectively, my students have saved over $20 million. So it's, we're living proof that you can eat healthy without spending a lot of money. It really boils down to just a few simple strategies and then being consistent over time. And we lived it out in California. We lived it out in Georgia. We're living it out now in South Carolina. My students are 24 different countries all across the world. So it's not, and I've had students who are in downtown New York. Literally downtown New York. I have students in the middle of nowhere. I have students, families of 1, families of 10. And so it's not about, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can only have a certain diet. It's really about prioritizing the food that's important to you and putting your money there while not putting your money on the things that aren't quite as important.
Yeah. I love that because really so many people would just feel better if they just ate real food. But the number one objection is it's too expensive to eat healthy. Number 2 is I don't know how to cook. Right. So you're kind of solving both of those issues with people. And so that's really beautiful. I love meal planning. Like, to me, that's one of the things that I say to people: plan your meals, because then you will eat healthier, but you can also eat more budget friendly too when you plan your meals. Is that something you recommend as well, generally?
Oh, absolutely. The very first quick story for you. I went to a Christmas party a couple years ago and was talking with this woman who is a realtor in Virginia. Number 1 selling realtor in the States. Very, very well off woman. Amazing accomplishments. And she says to me, what do you do? So I help people eat real food on a budget. She says, oh my gosh, I need your help. We spend, and she gave me a number for the 3 of us. It was a lot of money for 3 people. I'll admit I was a little shocked. And she says, what do you recommend? And the first thing I said to her was, you need to eat the food you have. We, as a society in America, at least, have a lot more food than we think we do. Mike and I did a challenge several years ago where there's a whole other funny story, but we did this challenge and we thought we would go 7 days without grocery shopping. And we went 33. That's how much food we had. And we still had more. At that point, we were just really ready to go grocery shopping. But we have so much more food than you think you do. So eat the food you have, make a meal plan. You can be strategic with the food you have. I talk about if your money is really, really tight and you've only got a couple eggs left, those 2 eggs are going to go so much further in like a loaf of banana bread or some pancakes or some waffles than they will for one person having scrambled eggs.
Okay, the name of this program is Wellness by Design, which means it's all about intentional living. And so when we're talking about intentional living, what's one baby step, Tiffany, that you would recommend someone could take today that's going to set them up for healing? What would you say?
Yeah. So I would honestly recommend to prioritize sleep. I feel like sleep is, I like to call it a big domino, where if you ever play dominoes, the first one falls over and the rest fall over. If you sleep well, there are so many other things that can go right. You can, manage stress better, manage your anxiety, and just a good night's sleep really goes a long way. So I would say prioritize your sleep.
So important. And when we're trying to heal our body, that's when we heal, right? Because so many other great things happen when we're sleeping. So I love that you said that, prioritize sleep. Okay, I also want to find out or tell the audience where they can find, first of all, the magnesium lotion, and then secondly, your Don't Waste the Crumbs.
Yeah, so you can find our lotion at magnesiumlotionshop.com. Pretty straightforward. And you can find my blog at don'twastethecrumbs.com.
Okay. And you're on Instagram too, right?
Yes. Don't Waste the Crumbs on Instagram and Magnesium Lotion Shop on Instagram.
Okay, perfect. And we'll have all of those links in the show notes and a link directly to buy the lotion as well. So Tiffany, thank you so much for being a guest on Wellness by Design today. I know you share some really great stuff, open people's eyes that perhaps some of the things that are bothering them might be as simple as a magnesium deficiency. And I know for myself, when I started supplementing with magnesium, the twitch I had in my eye went away, my muscle cramps went away, and I started sleeping better. So thank you so much for sharing that with the audience.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Yeah, thanks for being a guest today. And thank you to the audience. And if you like what you've heard today, please leave a review, right? And give us a nice rating if you feel so called to do. And also, if you know someone, if you heard these symptoms and it's like, I think that's happening with so-and-so, share this podcast with them so that they can find relief. You might just be doing them the best favor of their life. All right. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you later.